Bhavatu Sahanau Punatu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti. So let us start what we have been doing. Any questions on what we have done? Come, more people put on their videos. Nice to see bright morning faces.
Good morning to you, Janki-ji.
Good morning.
I request you to throw more light on that point, distaste for crowded places.
Okay.
And any link with that Vanaprastha ashramam, Sanyashramam, which is prescribed for the elderly people to withdraw from the society to keep serenity in their life. Any link? I request you to throw light on that, madam.
Yes and no. Firstly, the concept of what you just said, that elderly people should withdraw from society to maintain serenity, this concept does not exist. If you have to withdraw from anything to be serene, then you better jump in and be agitated, because that's better. Okay, so serenity is what is in your heart, and it's with you at all times. It doesn't come and go because somebody has come, your serenity has gone, and somebody has gone, so your serenity has come, or other way around, whichever way you like. It is with you at all times. Okay, so just do. Now, what does it mean, distaste, disinterest in gathering, or distaste? Now, this is a direct translation from the Sanskrit. The Sanskrit word is arati. Arati means, rati means to revel in it. Arati means not reveling in it. So if you translate it into English as distaste, so it has a different connotation. It means like you don't like it. But in Sanskrit, that's not what it means. What it only means is that you don't require company to be reveling. Because, okay, people understand this concept that, oh, sab log hai, pura parivar hai, ya party hai, ya something is there, all my friends are there, all my relations are there, and then I feel happy. Right? That concept exists. So therefore it says you don't require all of that to be happy. Means you're completely capable of being by yourself. Now, in today's world, it's a very wrong thing for us to say capable of being by yourself, because everybody is now being by themselves, but in their hand is this little device. And when they are with their device, they think they're by themselves. That's not what he means by being alone. Being alone means being alone. No books, no music, no cell phone, no television, nothing. Because our situation is worse nowadays. First, they were very happy when all their friends and family were there. Our situation is now worse. We are happy not with friends and family because we're too selfish. We can't get along with anyone. So then we started keeping animals, because animals are making less demands on us. An animal doesn't have an opinion on which clothes you wear, what you eat, nothing. The dog is happy with you no matter how you behave. Right? So we came down to animals. Then animals also have some demand, like khana to dena padta hai, you have to take the dog for a walk. That also became too much. Then we came lower, we wanted plants. Then that also became too much, because then that is also bondage. If you go somewhere, then the plants are going to die, you have to take care of them and all that, too much trouble. So we've come lower. We've now gone to objects, because objects can go with us everywhere and they are really making no demand on us, other than that we spend whatever 2,000 rupees per year on that whatever connection that we have. Okay, so our capacity for company has reduced, which is a bad thing. Bad thing in the sense that our selfishness has risen so much that we cannot live with people. When this was written, they were enjoying living with people. So they said you should learn to live alone. So today, if we say this, people think that, oh, great, I and my cell phone, मैं और मेरा cell phone, अक्सर ये बातें करते हैं, like it's like that. But that's not what it's talking about. What it's talking about is the capacity for you to just be in silence. And if silence is too much, just in reflection or contemplation. That's what it's referring to. That means you are by yourself, either in complete silence or with contemplative thoughts. And you're happy. I mean, you're okay with that. I mean, in the sense, you don't get restless because of that. Now, this will never happen unless we know how to live with people. So if I don't know how to live with people, I won't know how to live alone. And if I don't know how to live alone, I won't be able to live with people. These two things always go together. So you have to be, regardless, that's what Krishna Avatar shows, right? He's going and dancing with the gopis, he's very happy. He goes into the war and fights, again, he's very happy. He lives by himself in the ashram, still he's happy. There's no condition under which he's not happy. So this is that serenity, that peace, which is always with us. Okay, is that okay? So resorting to solitary places, disinterest in gathering. Disinterest in gathering also refers to not being dependent on what other people feel for us or think about us. We are very, very concerned with what other people say. It's very concerned. And it's normally an indication of us not living according to our conviction. If we live by our own conviction, our own conscience, it really doesn't matter what anyone else does. So though you are in a crowd, you're really all alone. You have your own views, you have your own understanding, you have your own stability. So whether the crowd is present or the crowd is absent, you're still okay. Otherwise, each time, say, oh, when I'm in class, I'm very peaceful. But when I go out into the world, then I get very agitated. Can't be like that. Same steadiness. Can't say, oh, on a Saturday, Sunday, I'm very peaceful. But Monday morning, I'm very agitated. No, same peace. That is why part of sadhana here, why is everybody involved in volunteer work so much? And if you're not involved, please do get involved. Because we are training ourselves to work with pleasure. Everybody who's a serious student of Vedanta has to take up some volunteer work. And you say, I don't have time. If you say, I don't have time, then you need all the more to take it up. Because not having time is an indication of
laziness.
Sorry, Anuj, I didn't hear what you said.
No priority.
No priority, okay.
Non-application of the intellect.
Non-application of the intellect. But in this case, it just means you're too mentally preoccupied. Please remember that everybody has 24 hours in the day. Nobody on this planet gets more. Yet Modi does his amount of work. Gates does his amount of work. The sweeper in your building does his amount of work. Everybody has 24 hours in the day. You say, no, I don't have enough time. Means what? Modi has more time than you? Who has more time than you? Everybody gets the same 24 hours. You may be a high achiever, a low achiever, a sleepy person, anything. 24 hours is what you get. Now, in these 24 hours, if we are not organized, then the 24 hours are over. They're finished, they're gone. And to teach ourselves how to organize ourselves, we have to do the work. Now, I know you're all doing your work. I mean, the amazing thing, the really amazing thing is most people who are doing volunteer work have their own occupations, whatever. Vidushi does so much work in the middle of her exams. She has had, situations at home. She's had exams. Never has the work faltered. What does that mean? It just shows that the person can stay organized regardless of what is going on around. And that is what we train ourselves in Karma Yoga. So if you're not doing it, please do it. Don't just listen to classes and say, oh, I will one day become a great Vedantin. No, you're expected to put in a lot of hard work. I mean, Dr. Bharati has I know how many years now she has been translating. How many years? I can't hear you. You're muted. Been translating for how long now? Can't hear. For
12 years. 12 years.
No, translating.
Translating for about 3 years.
3 years.
3 years.
She has taken on to herself this onerous task of translating how do you know what you know into Marathi. Then she translates it. Then she gets on my case because I don't even give her enough time, unfortunately, and apologies for that. But she gets on my case. She makes sure that I listen to the translation. She takes down whatever I've said about it, redoes it and redoes it, then finally records it and puts it on our channel. All without any kind of any supervision or anyone even praising it or even noticing it. Her work is going on quietly in the background. Nobody knows this is happening. Right? Is it that she has nothing else in this world to do? And she obviously has her life to live, right? So everybody is doing whatever they're doing. Some people say, no, now this has happened and that has happened and I can't do and I'm too busy. You're not busy, you're just disorganized. So when we do Karma Yoga along with our studies, we begin to find very amazingly that something gets created in our life. You know what gets created in our life when you do karma along with studies?
Time.
You get more time.
Very good. Those who do karma know what happens. Time is created. Those 24 hours slow down. Suddenly you have time to do everything. Suddenly you have time to exercise as well. Suddenly you have time to meet your friends as well. Suddenly time is created. It's an incredible thing. The more karma yoga you do, the more time you have. You go to anybody who works very hard. You know what they say? If you have something to be done, go to a busy man. Because he's the one who get it done. Because he knows how to get things done. You go catch hold of somebody who, you must have tried it. Go catch hold of somebody who according to you is free and give them a job. That job will never be done. Because they don't know how to do a job. So if you're not doing Karma Yoga, please take it up. Because the important thing of our studies is we must all see for ourselves the result unfolding. And to see the result, more work is necessary. So, remember where we were? What?
Solitary and not being with people.
Very good. Oh, I'm glad Kalyan, the monkey, has changed into this whatever, into this clover.
Yeah.
Worried that now who is this monkey coming to class?
That was my son's laptop. So
So when we do the sadhana correctly, the effect of the sadhana becomes
Prayer.
the effect of the sadhana is
Translated into action, karma yoga.
Karma yoga is the sadhana, right? So what is the effect?
You get more organized.
You
Sorry,
become
Bharat.
dynamic. You become dynamic.
Yes, correct. What did you say, Bharat?
You get more organized.
Correct.
I think you reflect through what you normally learn.
Yes, okay. But what are we
More-
talking about?
More disciplined.
You get more discipline, correct. But what are we talking about?
Able to be
Self-reliance.
yourself.
What? Reshma?
You're able to be by yourself.
Very good. What did you say, Kalyan?
I said that solitary experience is
You become capable of being by yourself. Don't forget what we are discussing, please. Okay, we are discussing being solitary, not requiring gatherings. Understanding that it doesn't just mean physical presence of people, but also their reactions to us, such as whether they love us or not, such as whether they respect us or not, they look up to us or not. What is their view of us? Do they think we are very great, or do they not think we are very great? All of this is dependence on others. This kind of dependence goes when we
Do our sadhana.
do our sadhana, which is what?
Karma and Gnana.
Karma yoga.
Jnana, which is you're doing in classes, and I'm assuming you're all getting up in the morning and studying. And now you have to start doing karma yoga, some volunteer work. Okay, but that's not going to be the end of the story. We're only getting everybody onto the karma bandwagon first. Right? First, what did we have to do? We have to get everybody on what?
Karma bandwagon.
No, first you can't do karma. First you have to do
Morning study.
morning study. Very
Morning.
At the moment, everybody feels I have no time. Baba, I can't fit anything further in. Somehow they fit the class in. You know, when you first start coming, you can't be regular. Why can't you be regular? This happened and that happened and that happened and this happened. So many things happen. Slowly, you become so regular, right? You don't miss it. Why? A little time has been created for you. Okay, then after that, I can't take on anymore. Slowly, you'll take on morning study, and that also will get fixed in your position. This is now there for you for life. It's like brushing your teeth. It's there for life. It doesn't go because this happened and that happened and that happened. Your morning study goes on regardless of what happens. Life will go on. Expect it to go on. It's not going to be smooth. Are you expecting from the moment you come to class, the whole world will change so that you will be given this opportunity to go to class? ऐसे कुछ होने वाला है क्या? Get real, man. Okay. So when you learn to be consistent in class, the next step is you have to learn to be consistent in morning study. If you manage to become consistent in morning study, then what's the next step?
Take up karma.
Karma.
Service.
Yes. Now take up some volunteer work. 1 hour a week, 2 hours a week, whatever you think you can put in. And just watch how this whole thing envelopes life, because that's what we want. We want it to envelope our life. When it envelopes our life, our whole vision of life is going to change. The whole madhouse that we create out of life will suddenly become a very, what should I say? It'll be like you feel you're like in Eden. Oh, what a wonderful life this is after all. Why did I think it was so complicated? It's simply not complicated. It's a wonderful life. And each one of us are heir to that wonder. So why don't we just help ourselves to it? But we have to go step by step. We cannot run before we can crawl. So first, so those who are not yet regular in their attendance of class, and I notice now most people are very regular. I see the same names over and over again. Okay, the next step is morning study. You know what we are planning? We're planning to make a tracker so that we can all track our sadhana. If we do make it, how many people will actually use it? Please raise your hand and let me know. You'll actually use it? Okay. I hope more than that much will use. Okay. Sure. None of the others are raising their hands. What has happened? Only those on video are raising because you all are embarrassed to not raise your hand. What is everybody else doing? Okay. So we are planning to make this app, okay, so that we can all track our sadhana. Means each one tracks his own. Nobody is viewing whether you have gotten up in the morning or not. Nobody has time to do all this nonsense. It is just a tracker for us to keep track of what we are doing. And if you want to know what is the current state of the tracker, the coordinator for that is Taruna. If you want to help create it, please talk to her. If you want to know what the state is, please talk to her. So she's taken on this task of making this tracker, making an app for us, which will have the tracker. Okay. So now, once we do all these things, right, we do our sadhana, we do what needs to be done. Suddenly we find that we don't really need anything. We don't need the people, we don't need the cell phones, we don't need the television, we don't need to watch movies. We don't need it. That doesn't mean you don't use it. The cell phone is a wonderful thing. I mean, that little gadget in our hand is absolutely a miracle, isn't it? We can actually run our whole life on that thing. And it's a wonderful thing. And people use it to spoil their lives. All the time scrolling some useless stuff. Hours and hours are gone in scrolling, when you could have used those hours and hours to do so much good work. So once we start doing the sadhana properly, the beautiful result of it is that you become, if you get the right word, that means you've been listening. You become
Efficient.
self-sufficient.
Organized.
Solitary.
I think
Independent.
competent.
Yeah. Very good. The absolutely correct word is self-sufficient. So your capacity, all of you were right, none of you were wrong, but being in solitary places, distaste for crowds only refers to our capacity for self-sufficiency. You don't need it. Because you don't need it, you know exactly how to deal with it. This is the greatest, strange thing about life. As long as you need it, you don't know how to deal with it. A child has no idea how to deal with toys. He will use the toys to not study. There's no idea what is the right relationship with the toy. And the moment you grow up, you know exactly what is the right relationship with the toys. Right? As a parent, nobody tells you how should the child deal with toys. You know it. So it's a strange thing of life that as long as you want it, you have no ability to deal with it. And the moment you don't want it, you seem to gain the ability to deal with it. So we can't deal with people. They irritate us, they anger us, they disappoint us because we want it. And when you become self-sufficient, very easily you can deal with all types of people in this world because you don't really need them. Every time you relate to something, it's only because there is a purpose of serving you. Otherwise, you have no relationship. No relationship means you don't want anything else. So that's what it refers to. So resorting to solitary place, disinterest in gathering refers to
The capacity to be self-sufficient.
Self-sufficiency.
Jackie,
Yes, Rishi.
What does it mean? You said that if you don't know how to be with people, you don't know how to be without them. Like how are the two related?
If you don't know how to be with people, then you have an incorrect or a dissatisfactory relationship with people. Because you don't gain any satisfaction out of it, you go and you are with yourself. And when you go and you are with yourself, then you start developing loneliness, depression, addictions, and things like that. Because you don't know what to do with yourself. You would have liked to be with people, but when you be with them, there's no satisfaction out of it. So you go the other direction. You try to keep a pet, you try to have plants, you try to have objects. Okay? You do all these other things because you don't know how to deal with a human being. And then, the thing is, did you know that day Mahesh put out, Bharat, what did Mahesh send out that article about loneliness? 7 out of 10.
70% of youths today feel some sort of loneliness or lack of self-esteem.
Yeah. 7 out of 10? What kind of numbers are we talking about here? Ridiculous, no? 7 out of 10, and it's only going to get worse. Because these youngsters are going to become parents and then they're going to transmute these same silly notions they have to their children. Whole thing will fall apart. That is why we have to very quickly do what?
Make a
Vedanta.
University.
Yes.
Vedanta University.
Correct. At least some kids' lives we can save, and their kids, because it will be a continuing thing. So this is the situation. You can't deal with your sort of cohort, so you go and be by yourself, and then you fall for loneliness, depression, addiction. But if you know how to relate to people, that comes because you genuinely are not going to each person with a begging bowl. Some people are going to each person with a begging bowl. And then nobody puts any coins in their begging bowl. Then they say, oh, these people are so bad. I recently had to, I wish I could record the conversations I have so that I can play it to you all in class. One man told me, he said, all these Vedanta people, they are no good because they don't help each other. Now, why is he saying no? When I tell you it's one sentence, when I hear it, it's half an hour. Okay? So if this is, why do you think he says these Vedanta people all don't help each other?
Because he's a selfish man.
Because he wants help and nobody gave it to him. And help means he goes from person to person asking for money. Who is going to go on giving on? Once somebody will give you, twice they'll give you. But you have to at some stage stand on your own feet, no? For whole life long, how can somebody keep on giving you money? So when we go to everybody with a begging bowl and people don't give us, it may be money we're asking for, it may be affection we're asking for, it could be anything we're asking for. Opportunities, the stupid idea nowadays of networking. People go to all these places for what they call networking. What is networking? I meet you with the thought, what can I get out of you? And you meet me with the thought, what can I get out of you? Nobody gets anything out of it. And yet they go out trying to do this networking. So you go with a begging bowl towards everybody. Nobody's putting coins in your begging bowl. Whatever that coin is, physical, emotional, intellectual, whatever that coin is. And then you say, oh, these people are so horrible. They don't help each other. I didn't want to be rude, but I did want to say, okay, you claim that that Vedantins don't help each other, but who have you helped? So his answer is, would be, I know what his answer is. It's sometimes stupid having these conversations because you can predict exactly how they're going to go. And then he's bound to say, how can I help? I am myself in so much trouble. You are yourself in so much trouble, correct? And you have been in that same trouble for 20 years. One bad decision after another, this person's capacity to take bad decisions is fantastic. And then he'll say, oh, how can I help? I'm in such trouble myself. You're in financial trouble, you're not in physical trouble, you're a young, relatively young person. You could have helped people who had been in hospital. Somebody was in ICU. Did you go and help? Did you go and ask what's wrong? Did you go and say, okay, can I help you in any way? Okay, I may not be able to help financially, but I can help you physically. Did you ever do that? Did you ever help anybody in any way? No. Everybody has to help me. And if they don't help me, then I'm going to say, these Vedantins, they don't help each other. They don't help each other. My God, if these people don't help each other, then who are they helping? They're all working so hard for one another. So when people don't put coins in your begging bowl, you want to be alone. When you go alone, you go into loneliness, depression, addiction. What is this addiction to telephone? Just that I don't know how to be with a human being, so I look at cat videos. And then I spend 10 hours in my day looking at a cat video. Then obviously all sorts of other problems will start in my life. So these two things go together. When I am service oriented, I relate well with people and I'm happy with people. When people are not there, I'm equally happy by myself because I never met them only with the intent of getting something in the first place. Neither physical, nor emotional, nor intellectual. Is that clear, Reshma?
So basically, we are suppressing that desire of wanting to be with people because we cannot deal with the repercussions of that. And then that takes another form. That's why we are not able to be alone peacefully. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Constancy in self-knowledge. This is another very important aspect of a Gnani. Now, why is it such an important aspect of a Gnani? Is because Gnani means that your intellect is developed. Your intellect is developed means you can look into the future. What happens mostly when you come to the spiritual path is in 2-3% of this most powerful knowledge, all the problems of life disappear. I mean, there are exceptions to this rule. Okay, except of volume and power. Can you all hear me? Oh, no. Can you hear me?
It's a little soft, actually.
Oh, okay. Now, is it any better? I got move the laptop close. Is it better? It's unclear. Oh, I don't know what to do about this sound. Is it me or is it the laptop? I don't know.
It's clear.
Clear? Okay, and that's the other thing. Some people say it's not clear. Some people say it is clear. Even on the YouTube channel, there was this video. Half the people are complaining the music is too loud, we can't hear it. And half the people are saying, what nonsense. It is perfectly okay. So I really don't know what to make of these things.
This is perfect now, Chakiji.
It's perfect now. Okay.
It's okay.
Okay, so constancy in self-knowledge. Constancy in self-knowledge, the second last quality of a Gnani, is a very important quality because Gnani means a person who possesses an intellect, right? What is the role of the intellect? It has vision. It sees into the future. Now, what happens most of the time when you come to class with 2-3% of Vedantic knowledge? You start feeling fine. Everything is going so well. All of it is fabulous. Okay, once you experience this, jump in the quality of your life, what do most people do?
Stop Vedanta.
Stop Vedanta. 9 out of 10 people will stop it. Of these, 9 out of 10 which stop will come back after some time and that quality falls off. But 9 out of 10 people will stop. Why do they stop?
Not able to see the end goal of this knowledge.
No mumukshatva.
The problems they were dealing with are gone now.
They can handle it and they cannot see. The intellect has not grown enough to look into the future and say, I haven't crossed every challenge. I've only crossed this one. See, most of us only see this moment. If this moment is good, all is good. If this moment is bad, all is bad. So this is how we tend to live life. Intellect means I can see way beyond. Therefore, this moment is really not of so much consequence to me. It may be a very uncomfortable moment or maybe a supremely comfortable moment, but that's irrelevant because the intellect is able to see well into the future. That's why Kabira says this famous doha, Dukh mein sumiran sab kare, sukh mein kare na koi. Jo sukh mein sumiran kare, dukh kai ko hoy. Everybody remembers the Lord in times of sorrow. No one remembers in times of joy. Those who remember in times of joy, why would they get sorrow? So, when the intellect can look far into the future and understands that though I have, sort of countered this peak, I have many more peaks in the future to still counter. If you understand that, then you will do what?
Constancy. Be constant on your work.
Meaning what? What will you do?
Morning studies.
Yes, you will keep studying. Correct, Asha. You will keep studying. Otherwise, you will say, oh, I have done. I know all this. Ye sab to suni hui baatein hai. Ye to sab pata hai. I know all this. Oh, yeah, sure. You know all this. Go off. Enjoy yourself. Come back after 10 years saying, oh my God, why did I go this path? But if your intellect is grown, and you go step by step by step by step. That's called constancy in self-knowledge. You are not moving from that. Absolutely not moving. By here means your own dedication to your own. You are not moving from it. That's a quality of the Gnani. And the last quality, which is a continuation obviously of this one, is perception of the end of true knowledge. What is the purpose of knowledge? What is the end of knowledge? Why are we taking in knowledge in the first place? The thing is, if you take to Gnana Yoga because you're an intellectual. If you were not an intellectual, then you would find Gnana Yoga boring and, uninteresting, and you'd say, ye log bahut zyada bolte hai, koi bhajan vajan kyun nahi ga rahe ho? You find it dry. You don't find it your cup of tea. So if you find this your cup of tea, obviously your intellect functions to some extent or the other. Otherwise, you will find it too dry and vruksh and so boring. What are they talking all the time? They don't seem to, find any joy in concepts. So as long as you find joy in the concept, the intellect to some extent or the other has to be functional. Now, since you are therefore an intellectual, what will be very interesting to you is many concepts. You want this one also, you want that one also, you want that one also, you want that one also, everything you want. Like, when we were doing the course at the university, they had their own stuff going on. So people are saying, oh, can we go and attend that one also? Can we go and attend that one also? Difficult to stay focused on what we are doing. And that's natural. But if you are a Gnani, that means you are serious about knowledge, then you have this capacity to tell what is knowledge for. Why do you take any knowledge? Any knowledge is only meant, any knowledge, no matter what knowledge you take, is only meant to build clarity of thought. Every single knowledge has only one purpose: to build clarity of it. Because you can collect all the information of the world and it will be of no use to you. It'll just be like a weight on your shoulder. But if any of that information converts itself into clarity of thinking, even the smallest bit of knowledge will be enough for your purposes, whatever your purpose is. You know, a very, very famous example about NASA. I don't know if this is true or not, but the story is very good. So NASA spent many, many millions of dollars trying to make a pen that will work in space. You know, there's no gravity in space. So how does that pen work? The ink has to come out, right? So they spent millions of dollars trying to create a pen by which you can write in space. But it was a huge challenge. I mean, you know, to us it doesn't sound like much because we buy a ball pen for 2 rupees. But for NASA, it was a crazy challenge. And they didn't know what to do. And at some point, children were asked, how do you make a pen that works in space? And the child says, the children said, and not one child, all of them, use a pencil. Right? It's not a very complicated problem for a child. Now, what information does the child have and what information do the NASA scientists have? And sometimes the most obvious things we don't seem to see at all. Because we don't get it, that we don't need a lot of information. What we need is a lot of clarity. And simply by increasing the amount of information we get, we don't increase the amount of clarity. So, perception of the end of true knowledge means your recognition that what is important in the knowledge is how much I reflect upon it. And if you understand that, then the final end of knowledge has to be enlightenment. Because if you have done sufficient manana, the end result is going to be enlightenment. You understand everything. So, perception of the end of true knowledge. It's not information that's going to help me, but how much I have reflected upon it, and it has. So I have digested that, so I can use that information. You know, very often when people come and they ask questions, one may not know anything about that person except what this person is telling me. Then how are you able to solve that problem? Simply repeating the information they gave you. They had all the information, then why didn't they have that solution? Just don't spend enough time doing manana, doing reflection. And being in solitary places, doing manana, all of these things go together. If we've never given ourselves any chance to be by ourselves, if I go for a walk, somebody has to go with me. If I do cooking also, somebody has to do cooking. Otherwise, I'm watching television or I'm on cell phone. I never give myself a chance to just be by myself and let my brain do its own processing. That is why we are so particular about morning studies, because it's a part of the discipline that you get up in the morning and you are by yourself. Don't say, oh, my family doesn't get up. That's why we are getting up, because they are not getting up. Because if they all got up, you'll have to get up even earlier. It's very good that nobody gets up. The moment they get up, they start making noise. You have to get up when it is quiet and you have time to think for yourself. And most people like to be reflective in the morning. Some time by yourself. But no, people get up, put on music. But why are you listening to music? Just be by yourself for a minute? No. I've not even woken up. Not even brushed your teeth. Cell phone first. And what is the need for this? What urgency is taking place here? So, gently into the day. Gently into the day. Think. Just leave yourself alone. Don't have to force yourself to even think. Just gently into the day. Giving yourself plenty of time to let your brain do the processing. You know, nature is so kind to us. It does stuff for us. It just does it. Sometimes, haven't you noticed? You have heard something or read something, and after some time, just in solitude, your brain itself throws up something to you. Nature will help. Let it. The system is made to support us. The system is made to guide us, support us, encourage us. Let it. If we don't interrupt the process, we will experience that divinity, that oneness, that support, the love that is with us at all times. We don't have to go with a begging bowl to anybody or to anything. It's already there with you. Everything that you require is already there with you. So these 4 verses, verses 8 to 12 of the 13th chapter, talk about these beautiful qualities of a Gnani. Unflinching devotion to self. So Gnani is not without devotion. People like to make compartments. The bhakta is like this, Gnani is like this. It's not really like that, because we are not only a Gnani, we are not only a bhakta, we are not only a kami. We are everything. So the Gnani is expected to be devoted to the self. Devoted to the self means the development of fine emotions. When your intellect is very clear, you develop fine emotions that are a closed book to other people, really. You know, there are different gradations of emotions. There are some very fine emotions. One good example of that is in Ramayana. Rama has been asked to leave. Literally for no fault of his, right? He has to leave the kingdom and go. And he's the most beloved of everybody. And obviously, therefore, the most beloved son of his mother, Kaushalya. Now, this mother suddenly is losing her most dear son. So it's like sudden, like, you know, she's getting dressed for his coronation, and hears that he has to leave. Can you imagine that whole thing has been converted from supreme joy to supreme sorrow? She's going to lose her son. Not only is he not going to become king, she's going to lose him. He's going to go away. And it expresses her emotions at that time when Rama is leaving. The sentences, she stood there like a cow whose calf is taken away. She stood there like a cow whose calf is taken away. I don't know if you saw that film, Rudali. There are all these people who are least unhappy would come and they'll cry and cry and cry. And this deep emotion of sorrow that Kaushalya felt, she stood there. She's feeling very emotional. That's it. That's it. She's a Maharani. She doesn't She's too subtle in her personality to stand and leap. So what is she supposed to do? What will she do? She stands there. And that whole expression of sorrow, like a cow whose calf is taken away. There is no drama going on. There is just emotion. So when there is extremely fine emotion, sometimes there is, drama is zero. And when there is very little emotion, there's a lot of drama. Like you see a child, right? The child is not given a sweet. So much drama it will do. But the emotion is very shallow. I mean, just didn't get a sweet. So as you grow, you begin to sense a certain, should I say, a certain dignity in emotion or a certain fine behavior in people. You'll see it. You'll be able to tell who has that fine behavior. People who will be willing and not willing to do certain things. I mean, it's very difficult to tell. You have to have the eye to see. So, but I'm sure you've experienced some fine people and their very fine behavior. So that's what he's speaking of, unflinching devotion to the self. That means the mind also has risen to appreciate the finer things of life, all the way up to the self. And how does it come? Through steadfast yoga. You will not move from your path, no matter what happens. Things will happen. Good things, bad things. The waves of life will go up and down. Your ship is going to its destination, not moving from it. That kind of dedication, if you have, then the goal is really not very far away. But if you think this is a hobby club, okay, 1 hour a week I will spend on this, then don't expect that. Expectation of result must be proportional to the action, right? So these are the 20 qualities. A seeker must develop these 20 qualities to ensure his advancement in the path of knowledge. Any questions on the 20 qualities, or should we move over to Karma Yoga? We have a question, Mukesh?
Hello, good morning, Jankiji. Just a question on the example you gave regarding Kaushalya when Ram had to leave Ayodhya. So you mentioned that she was very composed at the time of Ram leaving. So that must be her intellect playing the role, because you're not suppressing that, are you? The emotion you mentioned.
No, it's
so
not.
It's your understanding.
Yeah, it's not in her case. Here we're not talking about her intellectual governance over emotion. This example is to just show the fineness of her emotion. Her emotion itself is such that she is not a drama queen. See, when you see Kaikai, right? You're familiar with that whole setup. She has thrown off all her jewels. She's fallen on the floor. There's a whole drama going on over there. She refuses to speak to the king. None of this is going on here. None of it. Just standing there. First, they must have been surprised, right? I mean, like, what happened here? And then the digestion of that and the sorrow that must have come. We are not referring to her as a person in control of her emotions. We're talking about her very emotion itself being like. The emotion is so fine that it does not express itself in what should I say, gross behavior. But the emotion itself is so.
So this polished emotion, I don't know if that's correct word to say. Is that developed through understanding, I believe?
As you do your sadhana, intellect
Sadhanas, yes.
capacity goes up, and so as mind's capacity also goes up. You become sophisticated in your thinking and you get sophisticated in your emotion. Both.
Thank you. Thank you.
When we do sadhana, every aspect has to get better. Perceptions have to get better. Means sense perception has to get better. Action gets better. Emotion gets better. Intellect gets better. That's why it's called self-development, right? Every aspect of the personality gets tuned up. Perception gets better means you begin to notice things which you never noticed earlier. You didn't notice a mess. You start noticing it is a mess. You know, things like you start noticing things which nobody else notices. The picture frame is not straight. You straighten it. Because your mind is now available, so you notice things. You notice this is off, that is off. You know that this, you notice that this is not sounding correct. You just notice things. So every aspect gets better. Every aspect of the personality, senses. And that's why actually as you develop spiritually, you start enjoying the senses more. Means if a spiritually developed person had a cheesecake, he went to cheesecake factory and had a cheesecake. And a non-spiritually developed person went and had the same cheesecake. And the spiritually developed person would enjoy it more. Because he's more available for the enjoyment. He notices. He's able to, his perceptions are finer. The non-spiritually developed person requires very strong tastes, like very, very bitter or very, very cold or very, very spicy or very, very something to drag his mind back from preoccupation. But as you become subtler in your taste, you notice things. So you don't need drama taking place for you to notice it. You're able to appreciate subtler colors, subtler tastes, subtler everything. You know, you notice it. It doesn't have to be drawn to your attention with cymbals and drums. You know what I mean? You notice things. At the physical level, your actions become, your behavior becomes more sophisticated. At the emotional level, your emotions become more subtle, more fine. Intellect, of course, we speak endlessly of. We become very, very clear in the world. So every aspect has to grow. I mean, if we as a class did everything that we were supposed to do, people should be able to, we should stand out in a crowd in the sense of, there's something different about these people. Like when we were, one day at the academy, Swamiji came and sat on his chair. No, he was coming for the lecture, and he never starts late. You know him, always on time. So it was like a minute after, and he wasn't still sitting there. So everybody started looking around. Where is he? You know what he was doing? He was straightening everybody's chappals outside. All the chappals put in any odd way. He was sat and straightened them. I mean, not sad, but he made it all in a straight line. Now that's so embarrassing, right? Because you don't want your teacher touching your chappals. It's not part of the culture. Everybody dashed off, and from that time onwards at the academy, all chappals have been always kept properly. Notice things. How can you do a Vedanta and you can't tell that one chappal is going north and one chappal is going east? Notice it. Okay, so that's it for today. We'll continue next time, starting karma. We spoke about karma. We've spoken so much about karma. Now you will hear what karma really is, and we'll do that from next time. Hari Om.